Libra, what's going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at your energy via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it. We are in Cancer season. We're coming up on Neptune going into retrograde. And we're also going to see a full moon within the next week, full moon in Capricorn. So it is kind of highlighting or bringing out maybe some of the more tense aspects. We've had a little bit of rest from that, meaning like things have not been so crazy, so intense, but we're also processing through what has been going on and what our next steps are going to be. And as we're evaluating these things, Neptune going into retrograde in Aries is really forcing us to listen to our instincts, listening to our intuition, and kind of deciphering between what is truth and what is lies. It's not always easy, right? But there's been a lot of tension to how our fortune, how our abundance is playing out right now. Jupiter's tensely aspected, the fortune point is tensely aspected. And so it's like we have to be open to the flow, ideally, acclimate to what is being thrown our way, finding creative solutions to deal with our problems, etc. But then also being really smart, like making sure that we're staying aware, present, engaged in what's happening, so we're not letting things fly under the radar. That's why I like to start these readings off with an energy cleansing. Just set the tone, set the vibe for the reading. Cleanse out any blocks, obstacles we might be coming into. It's a really good time to set your own intention as well, Libra, especially if you've come in with something on your heart, on your mind, and you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around that. Definitely give it over. Be open to receive. Spirit loves to speak to us and it works, you know. And I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you are just looking for more of a rebalancing of self, alignment of your mind, body, soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we're feeling good in ourselves, when we're feeling grounded and supported, when we know what we want, what we need, etc., that's where we're manifesting our happiness and our abundance, right? That's where we're able to actually make choices that honor our heart. And I would love to support, help in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, let's get into it, Libra. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being, so that we may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love, and love. All right, Libra. So I was hearing there's like loose ends that you're cleaning up this week. I don't know, and maybe some of this is like the hardest stuff, right? Like it's kind of when we move through a problem, through a situation where we're really struggling to find solution, and then we feel a little bit stronger step by step. We keep moving towards good results. It feels like the loose ends that like we didn't really see coming, because I keep getting this feeling of like you being out of breath. It feels like shock a little bit, or I don't know what to say, or I wasn't even seeing that. You know, it's a piece of the puzzle that is important, I do think. Also, it's saying that like Spirit is protecting you, so keep that in mind. This feels a little bit like some clarity that's coming through. Well, okay, so we have that full moon, like I said, coming up in Capricorn. Here's the thing, I do see like you getting some clarity, and I see you making more sense of a situation. It does feel like someone's bringing you information. It feels like you might have an idea about what this is. Like that's what it's showing, but I feel like you haven't had the whole picture. You knew something was off. You knew something was amiss. Your intuition was telling you that. But I feel like as to what it was, that's kind of where it got a little bit dicey. And I'm hearing illusion. So right now, as I mentioned, or I don't know if I mentioned this, sorry. I say a lot of like the same things over the course of the 12 zodiac videos, so forgive me. I try not to repeat myself too much, but with that Neptune going into retrograde, it is kind of highlighting those places that we have to be really mindful about illusion versus reality. Because sometimes our intuition feels so right or so on point, and then our fear, our anxiety can take over. And especially with the intuition being in your blocked energy this week, the full moon in Capricorn is going to highlight those places that like still need some work, still need some tender loving care, or information comes in that completely throws a new perspective on how something is going. I feel like it's taken a long time for you to kind of get to this place. Like I do feel like you've had to be not just patient, but very patient is how it's showing up. And letting go of control, like letting people, situations do what they need to do, even if it does kind of backfire on you or hurt you. Because it's made you stronger, Libra. It's actually made you stronger. And it hasn't been fun, but I think it's given you some time to understand better, to think through, to process through, to take time out for yourself, for your needs, and actually get more clarity on what you need to do, on what your next steps are. And honestly, I'm hearing this as like you're taking inventory along the way, especially if this is a dynamic where there is no contact, where you're still having interaction with this person situation. You're taking a lot of inventory. Yeah, you might not be giving a lot to the dynamic. You might be conservative with your energy because you're calculating as well. There are things you weren't getting out of this dynamic, and so you had to choose yourself first. You had to put yourself first. The Queen of Wands is a very vibrant and charismatic energy, and she is very good at attracting the opportunities, the people, the situations that she needs in order to succeed. And it's interesting because whatever you are kind of dealing with, Six of Wands energy, is someone who is doing something very similar, but the difference is there's a lot of selfishness on their end. Maybe understandably so, because they needed to heal, they needed to grow, they needed to evolve. But they're still on the defensive. They're still struggling with this to some capacity. You're still feeling the reverberations, and you have no other choice but to seek new direction with this Fool card. You have no other choice. You're recognizing what it is, and then you have to make decisions accordingly, especially if there is other people involved or someone is choosing to invest into something else. You see it, you understand it, and that's what it is, right? And that kind of is their own choices. And I think you're just kind of, it doesn't show that you're directly involved in a lot of this stuff, because it shows that Spirit's protecting you in this process. And maybe it hasn't seemed like that. Maybe it hasn't felt like that. Maybe it's not fun to watch because you're just watching it all play out, you know? Like, you're seeing, like, as I was saying before, you're not really interacting a lot with it. You're just sitting on the sidelines and like, okay, well, if this is what they're going to do, then I'm going to choose this. And it really is too bad, so sad. But in a way that I don't know that you're holding on to it anymore. I feel like they are to some capacity, because there's this energy of not knowing what they want, not knowing how they want to interact with you, being really emotional about things, wanting things to look a certain way, but not really being able to handle it at all. Yeah, like, I mean, we have King of Cups, Queen of Cups, and the Knight of Cups, and the Temperance, and the Eight of Cups. So it's just like all this unnecessary emotion in the face of like the reality of what things are. And it's not necessarily coming from you, because I feel like you're kind of on the sidelines, like I said, right? Like you're not, maybe you're a direct player in the dynamic, like you're a part of this situation, but you're not the one controlling it. If anything, you're more focused on just staying even and balanced and like doing what you got to do in your life. It's not being mirrored back. There's a lot of, it's funny, it's like the Wands family and the Cups family are showing up. So it's like fire and water. It's opposites, right? It's, I don't know. And because you do feel a little bit like you've waved the white flag, you might not be surrendering to this person or situation, but you're like letting go of control. Because it's almost just like the Queen of Wands also is very good at knowing who and what are going to give her what she wants, right? She's good at knowing like, well, if this is not vibing with me, then someone else is going to give it to me. That's that value of like attracts like. That place where she can be really just charismatic and connect and engage with people, situations, new opportunities. And that's how you're showing up, Libra. I surrender to life 100%. I allow things to be as they are. I respect nature and everything around me. Only through acceptance and surrender can I enjoy a fulfilled life. 100%. And that's really like what's happening here, is just like, it is a surrender. You can't necessarily dictate what is happening. And I don't think you really want to anymore. That's kind of how it's showing up. I think it's actually this protection, you're seeing it more now, the blessing that it has brought you, because it is giving you some level of freedom. There's a lot of energy that's a little unsteady. Like, okay, now that I have this understanding, what am I going to do with it? What are my next steps going to be? How am I going to interact and engage with this energy? The truth gives me freedom. When truth is inside me, lies are no longer present. I follow my heart and connect with myself, excuse me. Real freedom is the truth. And I feel like a lot of like what you're understanding in this week or through these dynamics is the truth, right? And loving yourself. I love myself. Loving yourself in spite of what's happening, because it's not necessarily about you, right? Like it looks like you're on someone else's emotional roller coaster. It looks like you've gotten off this emotional roller coaster and you're ready to kind of like find something else. You're ready to find a different ride. It's what I'm seeing. When I am present, my true self appears. The authentic self is an expression of pure love. Loving myself is my real spirit. When I love and know myself, I am capable of truly loving others. I think this is so important. This has been coming up a lot, especially because like we are being forced to trust ourselves, trust our instincts. And that's not always easy, especially when someone gives the appearance that like, that's what we should connect with. And in reality, it's just not a fit for us, or it's time to move on, or it's time to find different options. It feels like you understand that. And this week, it's all about assessing what those things are. But you also want to make sure that you're coming from this grounded and balanced perspective, right? That you're not just kind of like giving back into energies, dynamics that really mirror this thing that you've kind of been protected from, right? And it's baby steps, baby steps. I think you're finding a lot of freedom in what you see, what you understand, present time. You're able to surrender because of it. And then now it's about just loving yourself through the process. So I'm sending all the love to you, Libra. Thank you so much for your time, energy always. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonated here for you. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I love to hear, or just say, hey, share, and a little love, a little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support to the channel. No, I'm sending it back your way.